Hi, everybody. I hope that you are doing well today. My name is Seth Buchanan, and I am the Director of Academic Success and a Visa Administrator at Central Carolina Community College. Like to welcome everybody to the impact of ACA 122 on student success across the state. I am joined today, I believe, by Tanya Green. Tanya, would you like to introduce yourself? Oh, she is popping in. Hang on one second.
Okay, I am here. I apologize. I've had some little technical difficulties this morning. But good morning. I'm Tanya Green. I am the department head for the First Year Academy at Wake Tech Community College. Again, apologize for just popping in a little late. I've been working with Seth now for quite a while, and we're happy to bring this session to you. So good morning.
All right. Well, let's jump on into it. So just to kind of give you a little bit of background on ACA 122, if you are unfamiliar with it. So beginning in the summer of 2014, a change was made to the Comprehensive Articulation Agreement between the North Carolina Community College system and the UNC school system, where all AA and AS students who would be transferring to one of those public institutions would be required to have ACA 122 in order to transfer. Community colleges were strongly encouraged to have this 122 as a requirement during the first 2 semesters, so taking either the first semester or the second semester of the program, to help it be more effective for the students and to help facilitate a more efficient transfer process. So currently, ACA 122 has kind of spread out a little bit more into other programs, including the Associate of Engineering, Associate of Fine Arts, the Associate of Arts Teacher Prep program, as well as the Associate of Science Teacher Prep programs. Additionally, some community colleges have also begun requiring ACA 122 for the applied science program. So having them take that course in lieu of a ACA 111 or ACA 115. So I won't read this slide to y'all, but this is coming from the system catalog, just a description of what ACA 122 is and what it consists of. Do like to point out that it is 2 lab hours for 1 credit. I feel like that is one thing that is missed by a lot of folks when they're talking about the course and saying that it is a 1 credit hour course, but it does involve 2 contact hours. So here is a list of the ACA 122 competencies for the curriculum. We're looking at developing a strategic plan for completing community college academic goals. This can be included. This could include certificates, diplomas, and degree programs, having a plan to transfer to a 4-year institution, and preparing for a new career. Knowing the rights and responsibilities of transfer students under the Comprehensive Articulation Agreement, including UGETC designated courses, and the Transfer Assured Admissions Policy and the CAA appeals process. Looking at learning strategies, including note-taking, test-taking, information processing. Oh, are you not seeing the slides? Okay, hang on one second. I apologize. I thought I hit the share button. Are y'all able to see these slides now?
Yeah, it's up now.
Okay, I apologize. That was my fault. I thought I had hit the share button and did not. So looking at so here are the competencies. Again, looking at developing a plan for completing goals, plan for transferring, knowing your rights and responsibilities as a transfer student under the Comprehensive Articulation Agreement, including UGETC courses, the Transfer Assured Admissions Policy, and the CAA appeals process. About working on learning strategies, including note-taking, test-taking, time management, memorization techniques, so things that you need in order to be a good college student. Identifying resources on campus, including financial aid, advising, registration, tutoring, and then knowing about essential college policies and procedures, such as avoiding plagiarism, knowing how to calculate your GPA, and maintaining satisfactory academic progress for financial eligibility. So one of the things that we did prior to preparing for this presentation is we actually reached out to community colleges in the North Carolina system and sent them a brief survey to complete from the ACA perspective. So reaching out to department chairs, directors, division chairs, just to see if they could provide us some information about the way that they handle ACA within their institution. I believe we had about 31 responses. So then this is percentages based off of those responses that we were able to receive. So looking at who at the college actually teaches in the ACA curriculum. 46% responded that faculty actually teach the curriculum at the college. 22 other support staff. 11% actually have full-time ACA faculty, which I myself am a little jealous of. And then some other responses included success coaches providing the faculty responsibility for the course, upper administration, specific college transfer staff, and then just other staff in general. We also asked if faculty are required to attend a mandatory ACA 122 faculty training. A little less than 50%, so 48.4% of the respondees said that yes, faculty were required to attend a mandatory training in order to teach the class. Almost 42% responded that no, there was not a mandatory training required for teaching in the ACA curriculum. Then we had 6.5% said that they provide mentorship for the first-time instructors that are teaching the course for the first time. And then 3.2% said that they had monthly meetings that were held to discuss the curriculum. Looking at the basic delivery options, so how are we providing this course to the students? Whoppingly, we had 87% said that it was a combined distance and seated options were made available to the students, and then not quite 13% responded that they only provide distance-only options to their students. Then looking at once the curriculum is provided, doing a little bit deeper dive into how those sections are broken out. Looking at the distance classes, almost 37% said that they were providing it through asynchronous means, meaning that there is a break between how the students and the excuse me, the faculty member interact. They're not in time with each other. Almost 24 said that the course was fully seated without a distance component. Almost 24% indicated that it was a blended course, either a hybrid or web assisted. 14.3% saying that it was a synchronous distance class. So there was a virtual classroom where the students and the instructor were able to interact. And then 1.2% indicated that it was a broadcast class, meaning that it was going out to multiple campuses at one time, so that they were able to have one instructor that was reaching out to several campuses, being able to provide that information to the students through those means. Looking at how long the course was being offered, 36% straight full semester, 16 weeks. And then we did have some interesting variations in how the course was offered, having a 12-week option. 39% offered it in 8-week formats, and then 6% offered it in a 10-week format. And then we also had some 14-week versions and 4-week versions of the course that were being made available. And then the resources that were provided to the students, 43% indicated that they used free resources from the internet in order to provide the curriculum to the students. 27% utilized publisher-provided content. Then other more specific things that were mentioned, an OER text was used, in-house material was developed by the faculty, also looking at interest explorations such as the Focus to Career or REASEC, and then also CFNC website data was used to help teach the course. And Tanya, I will turn this slide over to you.
All right. Thank you, Seth. Can you hear me all right, Seth?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So if you can hear me, I know everyone else can hear me well. I've got like some technical challenges going on this morning, but that's okay. We're going to press through. So no doubt ACA 122 is a very important course. And from what Seth shared in the previous slides, you know, we have a variety of faculty and staff teaching the course using different resources, different delivery formats. And with all of that, we want to be able to see, you know, how is it impacting student success? How is it moving the needle with, you know, persistence, graduation and transfer? And how does that look across the state? What's the impact? And so Seth and I were able to make a contact at the systems office. And Seth, I cannot remember her name, and I do not want to try to take credit for this information because I did not put it together. It did come from the systems office. Do you remember her name?
That was a long time ago, and
okay, it was.
The young lady's name escapes me at the moment.
Okay, it's escaping me too right now, but just know this information is coming from the system office here. And so, Seth, if you want to go to the first chart there.
Yes, we are on the first chart.
Are we? Oh, okay. Thank you, because I've got like different screens going on. So, so you should be looking at a chart here that tracks student attempts and success their first fall term, and this is coming from tracking from fall 2012 to fall 2019. We're looking at first time, first attempts for that first fall. And you can see, you know, before the CAA revision, what those attempts and success looked like. And then as the CAA was revised in fall 2014, you can see how enrollment definitely increased in the course. And from fall 2014 to fall 2019, you can see that steady increase in students who enrolled and attempted successfully. So you see from 25% in fall 2014, we're going at 39% fall 2019. So from 2014 to 2019. And so we're looking at those students are the ones that were enrolled in 122, that first fall, and they were successful. So you can see that success rate there. And so my slides, Seth, are not showing up, but I have the slides. So if you can just tell me when you're getting ready to go to the next slide, I'd appreciate it. And if you have questions about the information that's presented, hopefully at the end, Seth and I can address those questions.
Yep. Are you ready for the slide?
Well, one other thing about this slide I wanted to point out, and I'm not a data scientist. I don't claim to be, And we have wonderful people that are gifted in that area. But I do like to look at data and then ask questions, once I really understand what the data is saying, because it does elicit more questions, right? When you really start to look at it and dive deeper. But you'll see in the middle, there's like a beige bar, kind of a light pink, if you will. And you can see that it's showing that, over the years, we've had more students now attempting from fall 2012 to fall 2019. Since it became a requirement in fall 2014, you can see those that enrolled and they attempted the course the first fall, and they were not successful. And so that, that makes me question, okay, so we have more students taking the course. It's required now for some degrees. And so with more students taking it, there are more students who are not being successful in the course. And so that makes me think of, okay, what happens when you make something a requirement and now more folks have to take it, right? Then you've got more of a possibility for students to not be as successful. But that just makes me think, okay, so what other things are we doing to try to, help those students along? So that's just one thing that came out. You can go to the next slide, Seth.
Okay.
All right, thank you. So this one is looking at data disaggregated by gender. We're looking at female and male here from fall 2012 to fall 2019. And if you look, you'll see that those females, I should say, that enrolled, attempted, and successful. On the left side of the screen, you can see from fall 2012 to fall 2019, that increase in the percentage of success. So that is 40%. And then you can look at male. There still is that steady progression, but not as high as the female from fall 2012 to fall 2019. And then as a whole, you can see more females are attempting and succeeding throughout each of the years. But I think that's also kind of illustrates or kind of backs up, the percentage of females and males we have in community colleges as well. But again, you can see that there is a increase in both groups of those attempting and succeeding. All right, you can go to the next slide.
Okay.
All right, now looking at the impact of ACA 122, that first fall, disaggregated by race and ethnicity here. And again, this is attempts and success, the first fall term. And let me back up by saying that this is by first time those in the AA, AE, AFA, and AS seeking students. So this is not for the AAS students. But you can see here we have it disaggregated. The first group, we have Black, Hispanic, white, or other unknown for race and ethnicity. And Seth, you're going to have to help me here with this graph because what I'm looking at is not the best copy. But from fall 2012 to fall 2019, for Black students, that fall 2019 rate is as 30%?
Correct.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Even with my glasses, this is not very good, but okay, it's 30%. So for Hispanic, we can see from fall 2012 to fall 2019, that's 39%. For white, looking at fall 2019, we have, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's 43%?
Correct.
Right, and then for other and unknown, we have 36% here. So we still see a progression in each group of those who enrolled and attempted, but we do see some differences in the success of students by race and ethnicity, and that begins to that lends itself to questions as, what are we doing to have more equitable and culturally relevant practices to kind of level the playing field with our Black, Hispanic, and white students and our other unknown. We do also see that that same thing is for those who are enrolled. For those that are enrolled, attempted, and are not successful, if you can see that one too. 18%, I think, right where there for Black. For Hispanic, I believe, does that say 12?
Correct.
Okay. White was 13.
Correct.
Okay. And other unknown is 13. Okay. So those who enrolled, attempted, and were not successful. Okay. All right, we can go to the next slide.
Okay.
All right, so here we're looking at retention rate from fall to spring. So for those students who attempted ACA 122 that first fall, we're looking at the rate of retention. And so we're looking, here we have it divided. You see a small little line in between enrolled and attempted versus those who enrolled but did not attempt ACA 122 the first fall. And so just kind of sum that up, there's definitely better fall to spring retention by students who enroll and take ACA 122 in that first fall term. If you're looking just at fall 2019 in both groups, you have 85% retention rate for those who enrolled and attempted 122 that first fall versus a 75% fall to spring retention rate for those who enrolled but did not take ACA 122 that first fall. Okay, you can go to the next one, Seth.
All right.
So taking out a little bit further in terms of retention rate, this is from fall to fall. And again, we're looking at students who enrolled in community college and attempted 122 that first fall versus those who enrolled and did not attempt or take ACA 122 that first fall. And that same trend is kind of falls from the previous slide. If you're looking at fall 2018, you'll see a 65% fall to fall retention rate for those who enrolled and attempted 122 that first fall versus 52% for those who enrolled and did not attempt ACA 122 that first fall. All right, we can go to, I think this is, we have two more. We can go to the next one.
Okay.
All right, this is looking at that first fall GPA. And I really like this. I like this chart for a couple of reasons, but you can see here the two lines, and we're starting from fall 2012, again, ending at fall 2019, and looking at the GPA for students who took ACA 122 that first fall. So in fall 2012, you can see how the GPA actually is, there's a significant difference there, but I really want to just look at fall 2014 when the CAA was revised and the course became required. You could look at the GPA here from, you had 2.59 and then 2.31?
Uh,
2.39.
Not attempted.
Not attempted.
It is 2.51.
Thank you. 2.51 and 2.59. And then as you can look at the progression for those who did attempt, there was a nice steady increase for those who attempted, then a little leveling down, and then, you know, just kind of a slight decrease there. But you can see in fall 2019 that average or aggregate first fall GPA at 2.58, much higher than those students who did not attempt ACA 122 that first fall. Now, we would like to attribute the GPA here to students who take ACA 122. We know it's an important course, and we'd like to say it's because of ACA 122 that the GPA of these students is higher. Kind of hard to say that's a direct correlation, but we would, you know, we don't mind if people say it's because of ACA 122, but we know that it's not always it's not the single contributing factor, but there is a difference. And I think it's important to note that there is a difference between those students there. All right, and the last slide I think I have, Seth, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. All right, there's a lot going on in this slide, and the more I look at it, the more I have questions. So I'm going to just highlight a few things here. We're looking at kind of three groups or three cohorts, if you will, from fall 2014, fall 2015, and fall 2016. And we're looking at students who took 122 that first fall versus those who never enrolled in each one of those groups there. And so if you're looking at the darker bars, that's representative of those students who are transferred with a degree. Okay, so you see in fall 2014, those who took 122, you can see that there is an increase in the number of students who, or the percentage of students who transferred with the degree versus those who never enrolled in ACA 122 in terms of transferring with a degree. And you can kind of see that same trend in each of the cohorts. But the other thing to note is that we still have a very significant number of students who are transferring without the full protection of the CAA, or transferring without the degree. And we know that ACA is now becoming a part of a lot of AAS programs. And we have some students that, you know, they identify early with those senior institutions what's needed to transfer, and they may or may not take that ACA 122. And so we can see that as well. Seth, I think that is all I'm going to share from those slides there. And I want to thank the person that we cannot name right now from the central office. What was it again?
Ashley, I believe it's pronounced Seaman, S-I-E-M-A-N.
Okay, Ashley Seaman, thank you. Thank you, Ashley Seaman, for providing that information. And I know that the dashboard is also available to many of us if we want to get that from the systems office. All right.
All right, so we also wanted to share with y'all, as part of the survey, we did provide 2 additional open-ended questions for the folks that were answering the survey for their institution. And the first question that we asked them was, what additional support would you like to see from your college regarding ACA 122? There's a couple on here that I would like to call out because it was mentioned multiple times. Instead of having the course strongly required or strongly encouraged within the first 2 semesters, having it be mandatory within the first 2 semesters, regardless of the student being full-time or part-time, because we do feel like that the sooner that the student gets this particular course, the more successful they're going to be as they move forward to complete their degree. Additionally, another one that was mentioned multiple times was having dedicated ACA 122 instructors, because I myself, I can, as I am a department chair for ACA 122, I am pulling from other departments, other staff members to teach this course. I am the full-time person for the department, so having some additional dedicated instructors that eat, sleep, live, breathe the material would definitely help it be, help the department. I did see a question in the chat box from Tanya Broom. Did you get any information on the SAC COC credentials used to justify the instructor, since this is a transfer course? Unfortunately, that was not one of the questions that we asked when we were sending this survey out. I can share that from our institution, in order to teach the course, you do have a master's degree, since it is a transferable course, and we do have a mandatory training for anybody that teaches in the curriculum, just to review and discuss the material. We actually have that training coming up here in the next couple of weeks. So, Tanya, what sort of requirements does Wake Tech have for folks teaching in that department?
Right. We very similar to yours. We require that the instructors have a master's degree. Initially, that master's was that master's degree had to be in specific areas initially back in 2014, 2015, but we have since broadened that. And so, yeah, it's a master's degree, and there is a required training. We do some information sessions, and then we also do training. I am one of the community colleges that's fortunate enough or blessed enough to have some full-time dedicated 122 instructors and a lead faculty kind of a coordinator, and so that is very, very extremely helpful as we're trying to just maintain the course and make the changes that are needed as we have changes at the state level. It's nice to have that dedicated faculty for that, but we do have the master's degree as our requirement.
Some other things to call out that were responses from this particular question is having the institution understand the value in the course, that it's just not a course for the student to be able to easily pass, that it is a tool for the student to understand, what their responsibilities are as a student, and how the institution is there to support them, and how it can help prepare them to move forward in their chosen curriculum and to transfer. Help the institution understand that this is a curriculum course just like any other curriculum course. Mandatory training for ACA faculty, helping to understand the uniqueness of the course, because it is not just a specific subject matter that you can teach. There's so many areas that build upon an ACA 122 that makes it structurally a unique course for the institutions. Helping the institution to understand the student development side of the course, how it is a collaboration between the academic side of the house and the student affairs side of the house, because it really kind of bridges the gaps between those two areas. And then the encouragement of having administration from the institution attend ACA-related conferences to learn how to better improve the curriculum for that particular institution. And then the other question that we asked is, what additional support would we like to see from the system office? So just to mention a couple of things that were mentioned multiple times, requiring it within the first 30 hours rather than just within the first 2 semesters, but just in general the first 30 hours of the program of the student. Again, regardless of the student being full-time or part-time. Revisiting the amount of credit hours, or look at more 8-12-week options. Students have stated that it is very intensive for a 1-credit class, but then also balancing the 1 credit versus 2 contact hours, that could be an issue as well. And then helping to identify somebody in the system office. From a previous presentation that we did, it was mentioned that Lisa Eads is the point person in the system office. So maybe developing some relationship with the point person at the system office to help grow it, not only on the institutional level, but on the system level as well. A couple other things that were mentioned, just to throw out there, having data dashboard specific to ACA 122 success, retention, graduation, and transfer. Again, we had Ashley that helped pull this information together, so if we get multiple requests regarding it. They may be able to build us a specific dashboard. Looking for different ways to offer the class, because as we mentioned throughout this presentation, this is for students that are in university transfer pathways, but we are seeing more students, more colleges, more institutions making it a requirement in the applied science pathways. So looking at those CTE students moving on to a four-year institution. So finding a better way to offer this class so that we're not looking at just transfer, but just college success in general, especially if we're requiring it in a program and the student has no intention to transfer, they may not understand why they're having to take a transfer course. Revisit including more AAS information in 122. Again, just like we said, more institutions are making that a requirement for the AAS programs rather than just the UT programs. Looking at more free webinars on best practices and ways to better support FYE students, first year experience students, and first year experience faculty and staff. Statewide trainings on ACA 122 and supporting the students and faculty. Training professional development for upper administration to help them understand the course more and how it can help their students be successful. And then remember, ACA includes advising aspects in the course. It needs to be included with advising information and updates because it is a very important tool to help build up the students, to help them understand what they need to do to matriculate through the institution to reach their end goal. And that is all the information we have. We've got about 10 minutes left. What questions do you have? I know we already responded to Tanya, but what additional questions do you have regarding the impact that ACA 122 has had on the system? Or about ACA 122 in general? We'll give it a minute or two and see if we get what responses we get.
Okay. While we're waiting on a few people to respond to questions, there's one thing that I wanted to point out from one of the survey questions that talked about additional support we'd like to see from the college regarding ACA 122. As we know, those of you that know the course and what's required and the work and the competencies, there's a lot of information. And as I work with different areas around the college, I hear things like, oh, that's something that we should put in ACA, or oh, that's something that maybe ACA should cover. That, and all that's very important, right? But one of the things that someone put on the survey was that not only do we all need to understand what's covered in ACA 122, but that what is covered should be shared and embedded in other classes as it helps to support student goals, right? So I think the more that we have faculty understand from across faculty and staff, but from across disciplines and departments, the more that message I think will be sent to students because we're speaking some of the same language, right? So they're not only hearing it maybe in ACA 122, but they're hearing it in their business or their English, their math, their science class. They're hearing some of that same language. So I think one of the things I like to see is that even if a faculty member is not going to teach ACA 122, if they maybe understood what was covered in the course and some of that success language, I think would be helpful for students to not reach just their career goals or academic goals. So I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, definitely the reinforcement of the material throughout other areas, other courses that the students would be taking would be great. Did have a couple of questions come through, mainly regarding the presentation. Yes, I'll download the slides. I actually have it in Google Drive right now, and upload it to the Backstage area, and I think that will make it available to everybody else. And that way you'll be able to go through and see the data slides that were posted. From Dr. Short, I've heard some universities still don't understand they're required to accept ACA 122 for transfer programs. Has that been your experience? In working with students, most of the time, working with students that have finished out their degree program, I've not had any issues with the student transferring because they had the just the degree as a whole to be able to transfer to the institution. So I've not had had that issue. I've not heard any from any other student that maybe has not completed the degree where the 122 has not transferred over. Tanya, have you had any experience with that?
No, I haven't. No, I really haven't. Not with students who are transferring with the full degree, but I would imagine, like you kind of mentioned, those that may be trying to transfer without the degree and have ACA 122 on their transcript. I'm wondering if that is maybe one of the issues there.
All right. Are there any other questions that we can try to answer? We'll give it another minute. You're welcome, Dr. Short. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, we certainly appreciate you attending today. If you do think of something later, I am putting my email in the chat box. Tanya, if you would like to put yours as well, feel free to reach out at any time. ACA is one of my favorite things to talk about. So if there's anything that I can do, any strategies that I can share with us, I am more than happy to do so. And I hope that everybody has a fantastic rest of the day and that you enjoy the rest of the conference. Y'all have a great one. And again, thank you for coming today.
Thank you. Bye.